Hello! So this video is going to be a little bit different. This week was the dramaturgy rehearsal, and I think it's really important for you guys to understand the context of the show and kind of what we do in those rehearsals and what's going on. So I'm going to kind of take you through our dramaturgy rehearsal summarized version. Otherwise, we'd be here all night. So, really briefly, super quick, simplified explanation of my lineage and what's going on. My father, Agamemnon, is king of Argos in Mycenae, and his brother is Menelaus, who is married to the house of Sparta. Okay, so Agamemnon and Menelaus, brothers. Clytemnestra and Helen are sisters, and they're married to each other. And just to make it super clear, I'm going to include this picture of my family tree where you can see Clytemnestra and Agamemnon as my mother and father, and Menelaus and Helen having their own child, Hermione. Also, this is so funny, but I'm actually related to Zeus, so technically Iphigeneia is 1/8 divine, which I think is pretty cool to mention. Just putting that out there. Yeah, we started off with warm-ups, the basic, the stretches, all of that stuff. And after warm-ups, we went into terms and summarizing the story, all of the notes, and also practicing Spanish, which is a very important part of the show because it is not set in Euripides' original location. It is actually set in Catalonia, Spain, which is key to many of the characters because Agamemnon's entire first parados is Spanish. So, yeah. I don't personally have any Spanish lines, but I'm Spaniard. I'm Spanish. I'm Spanish? Spanish. I need to know my character. I need to learn how to speak. I need to know the dialect. It's super important. So I'm going to give you guys the basic context of the play and how it all started. For those of you that don't know, Iphigeneia and Aulis was originally written by Euripides, and this is the adapted version by our director, Max Pinsky. So essentially, long story short, at the Judgment of Paris, which is a whole nother separate story that we can get into maybe in a later video, but the Judgment of Paris happens, and Paris decides that he wants Helen. So Aphrodite then steals Helen and plants her in Troy, and this is the start of the Trojan War. Obviously, Helen being Menelaus' wife, he's very concerned, goes to Troy because it is revealed to him where she is at, and that's the start of the Trojan War, which is where all of this takes place. At the start of our show, all of the characters are at Aulis, and they're trying to sail from Aulis to Troy, where Helen is. Agamemnon ends up angering the god Artemis, who is in control of the winds and is preventing them from sailing to Aulis, from Aulis to Troy. So he goes to an oracle, Calchas, and the oracle then tells him that in order to fix the situation, have them go to Troy, have his army saved, keep them happy, not be completely obliterated by the winds, he needs to sacrifice his first daughter, Iphigeneia. And this is where the story begins, and that's kind of the background and context of the whole play. Taco Bell break. So yes, as you can imagine, in the dramaturgy rehearsal, Max is sitting, speaking to us on everything, kind of putting all of this in more simplified terms. We ask questions, write things down, that sort of thing. But our research expands far beyond that, as he has sent us many links and videos to watch. And one of our most beloved people that we always see when doing Greek plays is Edith Hall. So for those that don't know, Edith Hall is the lovely older lady who has done many videos on the Greek era, Greek tragedies, including many on Iphigeneia. So actually a lot of our research stems from her videos. A lot of our dramaturgy is her stuff, her information. So although most of it comes from Max and in rehearsals, there is a lot of research that goes on outside of rehearsals, including some of her videos. So I think I covered everything. I know it's kind of complicated and hard to straighten in your head, but hopefully I simplified it enough and that helps. I know it took me a while to get all of that. I think once you get past the language, which luckily we don't have to do with as much because our show is adapted, and I think once you get past all the complex things and you kind of straighten that out in your mind, it's like, wow, this is actually really cool. So hopefully you guys can piece some of that together for yourselves. Yeah. See you next rehearsal.